Hey everyone, settle in because today we've got a really wonderful story for you. It's all about finding your courage in the most unexpected of places, and with a hero you might not see coming.
So let's jump right in. Our story picks up with our two best friends putting the cat and Momo the dog. After saying goodbye to their fox friend Ah Feng, they kept going, deeper and deeper into the mountains. They had their backpacks on, spirits were high, they were ready for absolutely anything.
And then, you know how it is when you've been walking forever in a forest? Suddenly, bam, the thick, misty bamboo forest they'd been trekking through just opened up, and right in front of them was this huge, wide, rocky valley completely soaked in warm sunshine. It was like they'd stepped into a whole new world. And Pudding, well, you know Pudding. She is all about that comfort life. The second she felt that sun, she let out this happy purr and just stretched right out on a big flat rock. Ah, for her, this was perfect. A nap was definitely happening. But, while Pudding's getting ready for a snooze, Momo's little nose starts twitching. He's always the more cautious one, right? He looks down and just freezes. There, pressed deep into the mud, are these gigantic circular footprints. Someone very, very big lived here. So just as they're wondering who could have made these prints, the ground starts to shake. A little tremble. Thump, thump, thump. No, not an earthquake. Slowly, this young elephant peeks out from behind a massive boulder. And wow, he looked super nervous. The second the elephant saw them, he just froze. And then he did this thing where he tried to hide behind the nearest tree, but the tree was way, way too small for him. I mean, can you just picture it? This huge, gentle giant trying his best to be invisible? It was actually kind of sweet and a little bit silly. Momo, being friendly, called out a gentle hello, and the elephant just peeked out with one eye. His voice was so quiet, almost a whisper. He said, "Please don't look at me. I might break the ground." He genuinely seemed worried that just by being there, he was a danger to everything. He introduced himself as Cody, and he basically explained that, to him, his own size was a curse. He said every step he took, it felt like he was just causing destruction. So he tried to stay as still as possible, which meant living a pretty quiet and lonely life in his valley. Pudding, trying to be encouraging, was like, being big is cool. But right in the middle of this chat, everything gets interrupted by this awful sound. A sound that changed everything in a split second. It was just this huge, loud crack that echoed off all the stone walls around them. High up on the cliffs, the mountain itself had just shifted. It was a landslide. A whole wall of rock and dirt just came crashing down the cliff, completely sealing off the path they had just used to get in. And just like that, they were trapped. And if you thought that was bad, oh, it gets worse. All those fallen rocks created a dam, and it completely blocked the mountain stream. With its path cut off, the water had nowhere else to go. So it started rising and rising fast. The whole valley was in danger of flooding. And of course, what's the first thing Cody thinks? See? I did it again. In his mind, this disaster was all his fault. He was so scared he stumbled backward and knocked over a dead tree, which, for him, just proved his worst fear. He really was a walking disaster. So as the water is literally creeping up to their paws, Momo is already thinking. He is always the one with the plan, right? He's scanning the pile of rocks, and he spots it. There's one specific big rock at the bottom, a keystone. If they could just move that one stone, the whole dam would probably break. There was a way out, but only Cody was strong enough to do it. But when Pudding yelled for him to help, Cody just shook his head. He was frozen, his eyes wide with fear. He was totally convinced that if he tried anything, he'd just make the whole landslide even worse. For him, doing nothing felt way safer than risking more chaos. Oh, and Pudding was just losing her mind at this point. She couldn't get her head around it. Why would he just stand there when they were all in danger? To her, you always have to do something, and Cody's fear just seemed like a terrible excuse while the water kept rising. Momo sees this whole thing going down, and he gets it. Yelling isn't going to work here. He looks at Cody, panicking, then at the rising water, and understands. Cody doesn't need pressure. He needs a guide. He needs someone to teach him how to control the very thing he's so afraid of. So Momo walks over, and what he says next is it's perfect. He speaks calmly, and his voice just cuts right through all the panic. He says, "You aren't clumsy. You just have a lot of power. You need to aim it." He was completely reframing the situation. Cody's size wasn't a weakness. It was a superpower that just needed direction. And then Momo gave him these super simple, super clear instructions. 1. Place your forehead on the rock. 2. Just breathe. And 3. Push. Not a frantic, clumsy push, but a slow, steady, controlled one. And Cody does it. He closes his eyes, he breathes, and he pushes, focusing all his energy just like Momo said. You could hear the giant boulder groaning, and then it moved. With this incredible trumpet sound from his trunk, one final mighty shove does it. The keystone pops free, the dam collapses, and the river just roars through, saving the valley. Cody just stared. He couldn't believe it. He did that? He moved a mountain of rock, but this time he didn't cause destruction. He fixed everything. And that feeling, it was completely new to him, and it felt amazing. Momo just smiled, his tail wagging like crazy. He looked at his new friend and said, "You saved the valley. Your size is a gift, Cody. You just have to believe in it." And this time, you could see it in Cody's eyes. He felt the truth in those words. His strength wasn't a curse, it was a gift. And in that one moment, everything changed for him. That heavy weight of fear he'd been carrying around just vanished. He looked down at his own large body, not with shame, but with this new sense of purpose. He wasn't too big, he wasn't clumsy, he was just right. And so, as Pudding and Momo waved goodbye and continued on their journey, they weren't leaving a shy, scared elephant behind. They were leaving a hero. Cody stood tall, his head held high, watching over his home, the proud and confident guardian of the valley.